I want to preface this conversation with Purrr by expressing how much immense love, deep respect and profound admiration I have for our very special guest today. His name is David Phu Ang Chiem, better known as David Chiem. David is the founder, CEO and Executive Chairman of MindChamps Preschool Limited and one of the most successful entrepreneurs in Singapore, winning award after award and accolade after accolade, the most recent award being the most influential entrepreneur. So very, very deserved. MindChamps is in the top 30 leading brands in Singapore. It holds first place in premium preschools in Singapore and is the first preschool to be listed on the main board of Singapore Stock Exchange. MindChamps has given millions of dollars to scholarships to unprivileged children all around the world. David states that if art is a mirror to society, then education is the toolbox building the future. With over 80 centres globally, MindChamps was founded almost 2 decades ago on the belief that if we understand how we learn, we can find the best ways of targeting and releasing the potential in every child. MindChamps began as a calling to make a difference by creating an approach to education that is in tune with the demands of a rapidly changing world. David's compelling vision for MindChamps draws together a dedicated team of global experts who bring with them decades of diverse experiences in the fields of neuroscience, human behavior, business and education from a higher level of mind to train the instincts and fully express the true potential for creativity and problem solving that is encoded in the DNA of the children in this new tomorrow. Originally from Sydney, Australia, in 1984, at the age of 14, David became the first Asian Australian to star in an international drama series. This was a big deal in those years. David's also written a plethora of books, one of them Only the Heart, which has been nominated for 3 Australian Literary Awards and is actually used as a set text in Australian schools. It is my joy and my privilege to share this conversation with Purrr with my good friend, Mr. David Chiem. Thank you for coming all this way from Singapore.
Yes. Wow.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, so
Let me serve you some tiger Purrr chai.
Yay, yeah, love it.
This is how I love having it black. My son loves having it with milk and honey.
Lovely. Wow.
Welcome, my friend.
Already smells so good.
Welcome.
Good to see you. It's been a little while.
It's been a little while. Yum, it's so good. David, you know I love you, right?
That smells so good. Yes. I love this. Yeah.
What many people don't know is that we practically grew up together in the outer western suburbs of Cabramatta, where I whipped your ass in martial arts.
You did, and I must admit, you know, when you're kind of like a boy growing up, and you kind of like, you know, when you're doing martial arts, and then you come across, you know, like sparring with a, obviously a girl. Back then, I was thinking, oh, you know, she's a girl, so let's get in there and let's make sure that, you know, you don't, you know, you do the gentleman thing, and then within a few moves you realize, holy crap. you go if you don't give your best, you're gonna get whacked. Yes. So yeah, Pauline, I remember all the way back when we obviously did those years together. And anyway,
They were formative years. I don't do violence anymore.
Well, you had incredible discipline, and that's what I saw immediately. It doesn't matter what, you know, obviously who we are, but you can just see someone's energy who has incredible discipline.
Well, David, it was literally beaten into me.
yes. And obviously, but then when you did the splits as well, can you still do the splits?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm a yogi, so flexibility and mobility, that is part of my life.
Wow.
What others also don't know is that we went to university together.
Yeah.
We both went to UTS, did BA Com, and I also went to AFTRS, Australian film television school, but that's where you whipped my ass. You were a much more mature student than I was. I was just coming out of my shell, moved out of home, and really discovering what it means to truly live.
Yeah.
So what was it like for you growing up in the outer western suburbs of Sydney?
Sydney, yeah.
Your parents, as my parents, played a big role in your upbringing. What was that like? Can we start from the beginning then?
Yeah. Look, obviously, I think we are the combination of all the years of environment experiences that shapes our thinking and our mindset and the person we become today. And even I'm a very big on that, a big believer of that, which is why, I'm very big on education. I remember first arriving in Australia, literally, standing on Australian soil, and at 9 years old, 1978, freezing cold winter. By that stage, we've never experienced, sort of smoke coming out of our mouth, and it was, a totally foreign place, and not speaking a word of English, not even hello. I remember when we stood on Australian soil, my dad literally, was quite emotional, and he said, for every one of us that made it, someone died. And that's fact.
Yes.
The stats show that. That's the ones they could count. Who didn't make it, and we had relatives who didn't make it, and so that was so real. It's like it's so real. You knew these relatives, and you just never saw them again because they just got lost at sea.
Yes.
Or whatever happened at sea,
Yeah, and for the listeners, David, you're talking about the boat people who didn't make it.
Yeah, absolutely, the boat people. And so at 9 years old, when Dad said that, that left a very big, obviously, impression on just never to be, to take everything for granted. So never to take anything for granted in life, and to be grateful, and so it was because it was even it was a lesson about life, where you even, whether you made it or not, to be alive meant, to be grateful.
Yes.
And so, and at 9 you remember everything, all those impressions are deep, even though, we didn't really get it, but it left that impression. And so growing up in the, Sydney's western suburbs, obviously we first arrived in Cabramatta, like most of us refugees did, Cabramatta Hostel, and then it was incredible. I remember going to my first school, Cabramatta West Primary School, and on the first day, didn't speak a word of English, and I was the only kid starting that day because it's kind of mid of the year, and teacher came over to me and said, "What is your name? What's your name?" And I couldn't understand, and it's like I was quite scared on the first day, and she said, "My name, Miss Cadogan, you are." I still remember her name.
Yeah.
Because I have a piece of paper that's got her name on it, and that I got at the end of the year, and that come because of this mindset, I believe. So she said, "My name is Cadogan, you are," and the more she did that, the more scared I was. And then a young Vietnamese girl who came to Australia about 6 months before I did, who understood, she was asking for my name. She turned to me and she pulled my arm. She said, "Hey, psst, teachers ask you what's name, stupid." Bà hỏi gì tên gì mà ngu. And I started crying on that day, and I remember.
What was going through your mind?
I was literally. First and foremost, I was scared because new environment, all these things. But what went through my mind immediately when the tears rolled down my cheeks on that day, I thought, just because I don't speak the language doesn't mean I'm stupid.
Yeah.
And then reflecting on what Dad said, never take anything for granted. Everything I did, I just put 110%. Just whatever you do, just make the best of it. Whatever's the situation, find opportunity. Just because I don't speak the language doesn't mean I'm stupid. Anyway, I worked so hard, and because of that mindset. And by the end of that year, of all the students in that class, guess which one topped the class? And so anyway, by the end of the year, I learned in Australia that if you top the class, they call you out in front and they give you a certificate. So excited. I still remember because the teacher, she went the extra mile, because not all teachers do this, apart from the certificate for topping the class. she bought me a little train, you know, and I was so excited. Ran home all the way, showed my parents. We were still living at the Capital Hostel. And, you know, and to me, that was a kind of important moment to realize that if you put your effort in everything you do,
Yes.
the mindset was more important. I don't think I was the smartest, you know, in terms of, you know, IQ, but the mindset said, put your mind to it. And, but I think not being, you know, but being grateful is a mindset. And it's a mindset that says, these are opportunities that we, you know, in life, you can either miss them or you can take it for granted.
Yeah.
You know, including opportunities of learning from adversity.
Yeah.
Learning from, obviously, you know, how do you judo your own weaknesses? You know, I love that notion of the human mind. We have all of these, you know, human, obviously, the way the brain works is it kind of picks up things and it's easy to get sucked into the negative. But how do you judo those moments?
Yeah.
Because society, life, we live in a complex world, thousands of years, certain gaps are still there. Why is it still there? You know, obviously, we know this society is made out of human beings, and human beings have all of these attributes in terms of, you know, what creates these ongoing global gaps. And so when I see those gaps now, I see that as an opportunity, but I think it starts way earlier of recognizing you can, if you put your mind to something and not take anything for granted. And so then obviously growing up in the western suburbs, it was quite amazing when, I'm not sure about you, but I remember watching even things like Sons and Daughters, you know, Country Practice, and being a refugee to Australia. That's wow, you know, like that's a different world, you know, like. Yeah. And then at 14 and year 8,
Butterfly Island.
Yeah,
I was young at the time. I used to watch you on television. I just come to Australia.
I think you're just thinking, I want to whoop that guy's ass.
When's he gonna grow up so I can whip his ass?
That's right.
But I'm reminded of, you know, the science that I teach also behind the magnetism, the vibratory frequency of the emotion of gratitude.
Yeah.
And with the emotion of gratitude, it is becomes like a magnet to opportunities.
Yeah.
And what I'm hearing and what I've witnessed in your life, David, is that you have this incredible sense of gratitude that constantly emanates from you. And therefore you just magnetize all these opportunities, and your life is flow from strength to strength to strength, and deservedly so. And I'd love for you to share your story about Butterfly Island. And it was a big deal at the time, you know, coming to Australia. And by the way, I also have one of those teachers when I was younger. Her name was Miss Laurie Henley. And she, because my father was such a violent man, she would take me, I think I was 5 or 6, and she would take me on the school holidays, and I'd live with her and her fiance and her parents, and they'd take us to zoos, and we never forget those teachers, hey? We never forget those teachers. So how on earth did a refugee boy coming to Australia, so you came here at 9, you got the role at 14, you had no acting experience. How did you get the role? What did you do? What was your drive?
Look, you're right. I mean, didn't even know what is either acting or what's theatre. You know, you just watch this stuff on TV and didn't even know what it is. I mean,
and you were good. You were actually good.
and you know, mom and dad were working in factories. They even know that I really went for the audition. But it happened, you know, when I heard on the radio, my sister was there, and she said as a joke to me, because they were auditioning, and you know, 1984, that's, wow, 38 years ago. Australia back then, 1984. You don't see Asians on on TV as a starring role, main roles, you know. And so I remember thinking, you know, wow. You know, so when I heard on the radio and they're announcing they're auditioning all around Australia and New Zealand, they're looking for this, and there's 3 criteria. And they said, I remember they say, you know, starring role in this new drama series, first criteria, Asian.
Yep.
Okay, Asian. And second was you have to be around 13 or 14 years old.
Yes.
And the third criteria, you have to be able to swim.
Yes.
So my sister heard that, and she said it's a joke. She was literally just joking. She didn't really mean at all. She says, ha 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 ha, 13, 14, starring in, this new movies, drama series, Asian, why not you? Ha 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 ha. And she was just joking. She didn't really mean it. But look, that night when she said that, when I went to bed, I thought, actually, good question.
Why not you?
Yeah, why not me? I thought, why not me? Why not? And
did you know how to swim?
Yeah. And that's the point. That's the point. So she even said the first two criteria, and she left out the third criteria. She didn't say, 13, 14 Asian can swim. Why not you? Ha ha. She said 13, 14.
Right.
Yeah, Asian. Ha 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 ha. She didn't say the swim because you're right. Back then I couldn't swim. Back then.
Yeah.
And she left it out. And so, but in my mind, when I went to bed, I thought, why not me?
Yeah.
And I just thought, I'll just give her my absolute, best.
Yep.
Whatever it is, I'm just going to give my absolute best.
Yep.
And if it's not, that's okay.
Yeah, just as your parents taught you.
That's it.
Yep.
Absolutely okay. You mean? And so anyway, she left out swimming. And just to kind of quite a long story short, I then thought, okay, why not? So I remember coming home from school, ringing this number, 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 and 2 weeks go by and ring this number, no one's answering. And I'm thinking, must be some sort of scam. It's like some joke, some scam. And I left it for about another week and just left it. And a week later, I'm still thinking, come back, and I thought, maybe I try again. And I rang the number, and suddenly someone answers. I was so excited. I said, is this a place where you audition for this thing,
Yeah.
I heard on the radio, and the guy said, he said, no, this is a private residence. And I said, oh, really? And he said, we've been on holidays, we just came back. I said, oh. So I realized I must have got the wrong number. And so I thought, where's that number that was written down? It was written on the tissue box, the back of the tissue box. So fortunately, I found the tissue box hadn't been thrown out. I checked the number, and it's got one digit wrong.
Oh.
So I rang the number, and I said, is this the place? And they said, yes. And I said, am I too late? And they go, no, we're still auditioning.
Yes.
So I said, well, can I come? And they said, yes. So they gave me, we were living actually in Auburn at the time, western suburbs. And the audition was in St. Leonard's. I still remember Chandler Street, St. Leonard's.
Yep.
And, and so they got the address, they told me when to come by, and they said, just rock up at this place. And for a kid at 14, to go from Auburn, to change trains in Central, to then go to St. Leonard's, and get there by train, didn't know, I'd never been to that side of the world by myself, cross the Harbour Bridge, And I remember getting there, getting out of the St. Leonard's station, got my map, there's no Google back then, trying to find how to get there, Pacific Highway, go down left and go right, and then Chandler Street, and getting there and going all the way there. And then there's a whole room full of these, obviously, Asian boys with their mums. I came in and and I said, well, I'm here for, and she said, go and sit down, wait over there, and this receptionist, and so I'm waiting there, and this mum of one of these boys said, who did you come with? I said, just by myself. So anyway, finally, after all these boys, I come in, they go, show us your teeth, show us your fingers, and take off your shoes, show us your toes. Just make sure you got all those things. Yes. So they check all that, and they go, okay, good. Well, now here's what we call a scene. Here's a scene, and learn that and come back next week. And so, okay. Didn't know anything about what it was in the scene. They said, that's your lines. You just read those lines. Yeah. And so I took it back, learned it, obviously, and came back for the audition again and again and again. Months go by, and I remember finally, on the day when they decided, I remember the director and the producer in the last final audition, they actually got the main cast that they already casted for the Australian main cast to read with, there was just 2 Asian boys left.
Yep.
And I still remember after, so they let the other boy go home. And they kept me to continue reading. And then I remember they closing the doors, and then I can hear them whisper, and they said, we should tell him. So I came back in, opened the doors, I said, we would love for you to play Volume.
Yes.
And I was like blown away,
Wow.
refugee, I didn't even speak English that great yet. It's only about 4 or 5 years. I spoke with a big accent, I still remember the scene, the auditioning scene was, I still remember the lines,
Yeah.
When he said that, I said, can I go now? Can I go? Because in my mind, I was just wanted to rush home and tell my parents that, like this has happened.
Yeah. Pinch me moment.
Yes. And so anyway, I said, can I go? And it's, it's getting dark, because it'll take me about at least an hour and a half to get home.
Yeah.
And so I remember they said, oh, no, David, from now on, anytime you need to come and see us. So the producer came and gave me this, back then it was called cab charge book.
Yes.
With about 20 cab charges. And he said,
Yeah.
anytime you need to see us, you just write down your name,
Yes.
sign here, and put the amount and put from where to where. Yes. I go, what is that? Anyway, when I got home by taxi across the Harbour Bridge,
You've made it.
ran into our literally housing commission in Auburn. So, I remember running, where's mom? And, she's, in the kitchen. And I said, guess how I got home?
Yeah.
Yes. And she said, what are you talking about? I said, got home by taxi from North Sydney. And so anyway, look, the rest is history. But your point earlier, Pauline, about I couldn't swim. Why did I go for it? I think it was a mindset.
Yes.
And the mindset was this. I thought to myself, well, like, I can't swim yet.
Yeah.
But if you give me the role, I'll learn to swim. Sure. And, and I really thought, millions of people can swim. Just that I never had the privilege of having lessons to learn to swim. So I thought to myself, you give me the role, I'll learn to swim.
Yeah.
And of course, when I got the role, I learned to swim like that.
Yeah.
And, and so I thought that, for me, that could have been a mindset. That night could have been a tipping point. I could have thought, oh, why not? Not because, number one, you've never had any acting experience. You got no one to help you. You're not even maybe, tall enough. Come up with 100 reasons why not. Yeah. Can't swim, dumb idea. I could have come up with that very clear. My sister didn't even want to mention that. I could have said, can't swim, ha ha ha, stupid idea, forget about it.
Yes.
But I really thought, wow, you give me that part, I'll learn to swim.
Yeah.
I'll learn to swim whatever you need me to swim. Yeah.
I love that story so much. It's very much the entrepreneurial spirit, isn't it? It is that one of the questions that, we've, as entrepreneurs, I've fallen to my knees so many times, but one of the questions I always ask is it possible? Is there a possibility? And if there's a whiff of possibility,
this is good.
I'm going to go for it, of course. It's delicious tea. I love that you love it.
Love it.
And so,
love the aroma.
David, what do you think it was about the 14-year-old David that they chose?
Actually, look, about a couple of years later, I'm about 16, and after the series was shot and very successful, and I actually lost a bet to the director. And he said, you're going to get fan mails. And I said, who's going to run right to this refugee kid, And, and I was still feeling quite, even though I'd done all that, still feeling a bit small, even. And he said, you're going to, when you get fan mails, you're going to, after the series, he said, if you get fan mails, you're going to buy me a bottle of champagne. So anyway, I lost a bet, because I remember even a young girl in Holland, saw the series and took a picture of my character on screen, and took a Polaroid of it and sent to me with a fan letter. Yeah, and it got letters from all around Europe, US. So it's like, anyway, I lost the bet, and so the director and I became very close and dear friends. And I used to go to his house sometimes on the weekends, and he'll teach me all these incredible, things about Western culture. Because growing up in my family, we were mainly obviously brought up with both the Chinese and Vietnamese, sort of mindset and traditions. And so taught me table manners, knives and forks, where they are. And I remember he even said, if you had a very, very formal dinner, David, and you've had enough to eat, and they want to serve you more, you say, thank you so much. I have had elegant sufficiency. Yes, and that's what I said. And he cracked up laughing. Yes. I said, "Why are you laughing, Frank?" And he said, "Oh, David, I didn't mean to laugh, but it's just," he said, "just when you said it, it sounded like, thank you so much. I have had elephant sufficiency."
Oh, bless him. Bless you.
So I said, "Yeah, elephant sufficiency."
Yes,
that's
actually what I said.
That's right, exactly. So look, learn incredible things from him. And then one day when we're that close, I said to him, "Frank," which is your question. I said, from all of those, you started with, obviously, they said they started with thousands, hundreds, tens, and then there was 2.
Yeah.
And I said, "Frank, why might you choose me?" I mean, I thought, why not me? But I'd love to know from you, Frank, why me?
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, why me? I'd love to learn that. And I was so hungry always to learn. That's what drives me.
Yeah. But that's important data to know. Why you? Absolutely,
And so when I asked him that, he said this. He said, David, okay, since you're asking, and he said, we're so close. He's like they call him like a Clayton's godfather to me. He said, since we're that close, I'll tell you. And I said, I'll just say this once to you, David. He said that casting your role, because he's been directing by that stage for many years. He said, casting your role, and everybody says, if you cast the wrong actor, your movie's gone. Yep. And he says, casting your role was one of the biggest gamble of my career up to that stage. And he said, I'll say, look, this only once, David. And he said, you were magic.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, but I still just want to know why you chose me. Yeah. I mean, it's lovely you said that, but why me that moment? Because you didn't know until obviously after the show. And I said, why me at that time? On that day, there was just the 2 of us left. Why me? And he said this, and it kind of relates to your point about this mindset about entrepreneurs, doing whatever it takes. Now, so he said this. He said that when he heard this story about one of the 2 boys, because obviously that stage we're just one of the 2 boys, he said he heard this story, and this is exactly what did happen. So every time towards right at the end, when they said you can call next Wednesday, we might know. Well, guess which of the 2 boys did this? Yeah, I remember straight after school, and back then, there's no mobile phones, so the nearest phone box to my school was about 150 meters away.
Right.
Yeah. So I'll have my 20-cent coin ready. School bell rings. At 3 p.m., at Benedict Senior College in Auburn. And I would, as soon as they let us out of the room, I would run to that nearest phone. Yeah. Couldn't even wait to get home to call. I run to that nearest phone, just in case someone gets you there before you and just gets into the box and you have to wait. Yeah. So run straight there when I see it's empty, put in my 20-cent coin ready, and I call up, hi, may I ask, have you decided yet? Have you decided? Oh, we haven't. The director and producers are still deciding. Oh, may I ask when, they might decide? Maybe try again on Friday. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Bye. Yeah. Friday comes. Guess what I've got in my pocket? School bell rings. I run there. May I ask? Have they decided yet? Oh, no. Oh, that's okay. Thank you. May I ask, when you think they might decide? Try again maybe next Tuesday. Next Tuesday comes. I've got my 20-cent coin ready. Yeah. So anyway, when the director said he heard that story of the 2 boys, he said, our decision was made. Yeah. He said, the problem was, you 2 were just as good as each other. He said, if he was much better than you, it's easy. Yeah. Or you much better than him, it's easy. Yeah. He said, you're just as good. Yeah. He said, but because you're just as good, he said, when we heard that story about you, he said, we knew that if you wanted it that badly, it's yours. Yeah. And that was the defining moment.
I just got chills. The universe rewards the unreasonably determined. You've always had this knack of staying ahead of the game, David. I love that story.
And somehow, when he said that, I thought, wow, I kind of didn't even know what I was really doing. I was just doing what I thought should be what you should do. Yeah. But I think that comes back to that mindset of being grateful.
Yes.
that, for everything, just seize every opportunity.
Yeah.
There's no point just wishing for it.
Yeah.
And if you happen to
Or
not...
being too proud and waiting for them to get in contact with you.
Yeah, that's it. Being too proud, oh, they'll call me. Or the opposite of that too, being afraid.
Yeah.
Being fearing. But what if I call and they think I shouldn't call? And you come up with all this stuff.
Yep.
And I've always said to our team globally that when people always say things like, oh, I don't know how to say it. I don't know how to say that to so-and-so. I don't know how to say that. I go, well, no, okay, I understand that. But I believe in life, there's only one way of saying anything. With 100% respect.
Yeah.
Say from the heart. Just say from the heart. That's all. That's the only way. There's no what other way is there? So that is the only way. If you just say from the heart. But I think, like you said, it's either too much pride. I don't want to call. I don't want to wait for they call me, or I'm too afraid to call.
Yeah.
And that's why really at MindChamps we've nurtured this philosophy to all of the children of what we call 100% respect.
Yep.
100%, not 99, has to come first.
Yes.
And then with 100% respect, to live life with zero fear.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about fear of, kind of like biological things like someone's afraid of cockroaches or afraid of heights. That's a different thing.
Everything in context. Yes.
We're talking about the fear that shackles us.
Yeah.
That creates prisons for our own mind.
Yeah.
That, I'm not good enough. Or shouldn't I? And how should I? Or maybe I shouldn't. And so you should too, because we fear being judged.
Yeah.
Or even the fear of if I do this, what would they think? Well, you just come from the heart.
Yes.
And people will feel that.
Yep.
And those who don't, it's okay. As long as you do it with absolute respect. True.
Yeah.
So somehow, when I learned that from the director, some of those key ingredients of what, in a way, I was so already, big on just being grateful, never taking things for granted, but also respecting everything, but never being afraid. Being afraid to shackle yourself. And so when he said that and I got that, I thought, wow. And and immediately, my mom and dad, really, because by the time I got the role, then obviously they supported it. Because I already got the role. True. Yeah. Even though dad wanted me to go and be a doctor, but because I got the role, he didn't have the heart to stop me. True. But I had to show up first. But if I go, should I not? Well, obviously, rightly so. As a parent who just made it through the refugee experience, if you keep in society, the paradigm is, well, you should be a doctor, sure?
Yep. Well, or a lawyer.
Or a lawyer.
Or a dentist.
Or a dentist, that's right. Yes, yeah, exactly. So, but that's why I thought, okay, well, let's not blame anybody. I could have, if they say no, well, you blame them. No, show up first.
Yes.
You show up, and then mom and dad thought, okay, he's doing it.
Isn't David amazing? His stories, his information, his insights was so incredibly valuable. We need to make this a 2-part episode. Part 1 and Part 2. Tune in for Part 2 coming soon.